Good day, nerds. Welcome to the Multiverse of Entertainment podcast. This is the podcast where we dive into the world of TV and movies and we see what is the good, the bad, the damn right ugly. My name is James. Welcome to the podcast, or welcome to the show. And this week, we are changing it up a bit. It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks since we were here. We changed it up a little bit. And originally we were going to do Goosebumps, but I've decided to take a different route and push Goosebumps back a couple of weeks. And I was like, do you know what? Let's do a show that will be fun and energetic. Not to say that the other shows have been fun or anything, but after a 2-week break, I was like, do you know what? Let's see what we can do. Let's change it up a bit. And as you can tell by the intro of this, I've picked a really, really good one this week. This is gonna bring back a lot of memories for a lot of people, especially growing up in the 90s. We are talking the Spider-Man animated series from the 1990s. This is the one that everybody grew up with. And it's a bit of a nostalgia trip. I've been watching it for the last couple of weeks, and I forgot how good. I didn't forget how good this show was, but I realized how good the show was, and it's even better. It still holds up today. So we were talking about that. But if you'd like me to, if you don't mind me taking a couple of minutes of your time to explain why there wasn't an episode last week. I was burnt out. I was totally burnt out by making videos, making podcasts and stuff like that. I just needed to take a week off just to recharge. It doesn't help the fact that at the moment I'm currently working night shifts, and for those of you who have worked night shifts previously, you guys know that working nights is probably one of the unsociable times to work, and especially when you work 8-hour shifts, 5 days a week with 2 days off in between. It's a heavy slog. You spend most of your day sleeping, and you're pretty much sleeping throughout the day, and then waking up in the night, going to work, staying up for a couple of hours, and then going to sleep again. So that's what's been happening. But I was just burnt out, totally burnt out, and now today I was determined to bring an episode out for Monday, get back on the horse as it will, and do you know what? I'm glad I've come back now. So thank you all for being patient. Thank you all for the message. I did ping a message out last week saying there wasn't going to be an episode, and I've had comments, wishing me make sure I was okay and making sure everything was all right. Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good, just burnt out. So thank you guys so much. I do appreciate that. With that being said, let's get on with the episode. This is episode 32, and we're talking Spider-Man, the animated series, which first released on Fox Kids Network back in the day. Who remembers that? November 19th, 1994, and ended January 31st, 1998. Let's go. that does bring back some nostalgia, doesn't it? All these sound effects, all the music. Usually I just would cut them off after like 20, 30 seconds. Um, but because this show is so nostalgic, um, I was like, I I, I must um play this. I must play this all. So if I get pinged for it, it's worth it. Um Spider-Man, the animated series from 1994. This show sums up my childhood. If ever, if everybody who knows me knows, Spider-Man is my one of my favorite characters of all time, and this was the show that made me go, "Wow, I love Spider-Man. This is why I love Spider-Man." And the show is so good. It's animated style. It's what one of the it was one of those animated series where there was multiple of them. You had this grew up in the 90s. You had a multitude of Marvel cartoons. Spider-Man was one of them. You also had the X-Men animated series. You also had the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, trying to think of the others. The Incredible Hulk, Silver Surfer. Um, did I say Fantastic Four? I'm gonna say Fantastic Four anyway. Um, these shows were adapted from the comic books, uh, brought out to live to like animated form. Yes, previously we did have two other Spider-Man animated series. We had the original 1960s Spider-Man animated show, which had that, famous Spider Man does whatever a spider can theme. Classic, iconic. And then you had Spider-Man and his amazing friends, which had Spider-Man team up with Iceman and Firestar. Another great cartoon as well. Also, that cartoon, fun fact, brought the X-Men into the animation world for the first time. Not many people know this. If you want to know, it's on Disney Plus right now. All the classic Spider-Man shows are on there now. And then you had this one as well, which is pretty it's pretty fucking amazing. Let's be honest. All right. It I know everyone's talking about the MCU right now and saying everyone's burnt out by superhero films, which I kind of agree. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I have liked pretty much everything that the MCU has brought out, except for a couple of things, which is it's my personal preference, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but yeah, superhero films at the moment are very there's a lot of them right now, and some of it's to do with Marvel's doing, but also as well, you're following when you're following from like a movie like Endgame and then going into a new saga with some legacy characters and trying to establish new characters as well as establishing a fucking huge storyline like the multiverse and leading up to Secret War. There's a lot of stuff to get through in 10 years, you know, and we may never know. Like these phases, it does seem like these phases have like been one after the other. But if you think about it, when did Endgame come out? Was about 2018, 2019. So if you think from 20 after 2019, from 2021 onwards, you've had like constant Marvel stuff for about 2 to 3 years now, unrelenting, as it is. And we are getting a breakthrough, which is really good. But I digress. That's a story for another. So, but in the 90s, you had a lot of what I'm trying to say is in the 90s, the early 90s, you had an array of Marvel cartoon shows that we didn't even think twice was too overpowering and too over the top. Marvel's the shit, man. Marvel is like one of the one of the best, if not the best, comic book companies out there. You know, I do like DC. No, before everyone says, "Oh, you should know DC," I like DC. I grew up. My dad had like 23 large boxes of comic books, ranging from DC to Dark Horse, Marvel. Back in the day, and I used to read them as a kid. But I find I have more established feelings towards Marvel because Marvel was one of the first things I read and one of the first things I saw. We are going to be doing a Batman animated series um po- podcast episode in the near future that is coming. I can't wait to talk about that. And then leading on from after I've spoken about that show, I'm going to be talking about the first Batman movie, the animated Batman movie, the Mask of the Phantasm. Straight after that, there's going to be one after the other. But fair play to myself, because I know a lot of people who knew I was going to do a podcast about TVs and movies thought I was initially going to do Marvel straight off. 32 episodes deep, and we're now talking about our first Marvel like topic, which for me, pat on my shoulder, and kind of like saying, everyone, I told you that it wasn't just going to be Marvel heavy. We've had a good range of episodes. Check them out in the archives right now. But if I was going to talk about something Marvel, it was going to be this. I think this was the first. It was a toss up between this show and the X-Men animated series. But I feel like I have more ties to this show than the X-Men animated series, which is a big take. I love the X-Men. Can't fucking wait to see Wolverine in live action in that yellow costume. I cannot wait next year. But Spider-Man is my go-to guy. Hence why Spider-Man, hence why Spidey's the mascot of the show. I've got a plushie right here. If you've seen me on streams, seen me on TikTok lives, you'll see me with a Spider-Man plushie. He's my guy. Second behind Captain America. But this show had, for me, this show had it all, and I don't really know where to start this, um, because Marvel, this show is so iconic. There's a lot of good points about this show. There are some filler episodes. I will admit there are some filler episodes, but just to break it down, Spider-Man, also known the Spider-Man animated series for short, is an American superhero animated TV show based on the Marvel comic superhero with the same name. The series aired on Fox Kids from November 19th, 1994 to January 31st, 1998, for a total of 5 seasons compressed of 65 episodes, and ran reruns on Toon Disney's Jetix block and Disney XD. The series was produced by Marvel Film Animation and animated by Tokyo Movie Shinja. I hope I said that right. This series is widely regarded as one of the greatest animated comic book adaptations of all time, which is very fucking true. I mean, I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about the show. But I'm pretty sure there are people out there. If you do, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Um, but it runs with the same storyline. It follows a student, Peter Parker, who is a college student at Empire State University, who is struggling to balance his responsibilities as the hero Spider-Man, with the problems of his personal life. Parker must navigate his romantic affection for love interests Felicia Hardy and Mary Jane Watson, maintaining his friendship with Harry Osborn, focus on his academic performance as Dr. Kirk Connor's student, and help to support his Aunt May after the death of his Uncle Ben by working as a freelance photographer for the Daily Bugle. The Bugle is owned by the loudmouth publisher J. Jonah Jameson, who often uses Parker's pictures of his alter ego to discredit and carry out smear campaigns against Spider-Man. Parker peers at Parker's peers at MCU include football star Flash Thompson, popular barista Liz Allen, scientific genius Deborah Whitman, and research rival Michael Morbius. As Spider-Man, Peter Parker's faced various supervillains that threaten New York City, include criminal masterminds such as the Kingpin, Hobgoblin, scientific mishaps like Doctor Octavius slash Doctor Octopus, the Green Goblin, and alien symbiotes Venom and Carnage. The Spider-Man is occasionally aided by in his fight against crimes by other superheroes, including the X-Men, the Punisher, Blade, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Iron Man, Captain America, and the Fantastic Four. This show, that's just like the synopsis of it, right? It's all on Wikipedia. This is where I all get my information from, and that's what it comes from verbatim, right? And that's literally down to a T what this show is all about, you know. And the the show of it, the story of, you know, this version of Peter Parker, of him trying to be Spider-Man, but then he's also conflicted on being Spider-Man because he wants things to go right in his personal life, but then he can't. Um, but then he's struggling to do that as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So there's a lot of occasions here where he is like, "No, I'm done. I don't want to be Spider-Man anymore." And then as he tries to not become Spider-Man, the more he tries to, sorry, I punched the microphone. The more he doesn't want to become Spider-Man, and the more things happen, he has to assume that responsibility. Hence why his uncle Ben always told him, with great power becomes great responsibility, because he knows he has a great responsibility as a superhero to make sure that not only his family and friends are safe, but also the citizens of New York. It's kind of like an unwritten rule. Um, and there's so much love, not just for. There's not so a lot of there's not only so much love for Spider-Man and Peter Parker themselves as a character, but all the characters in here have love and support of fans, because everybody, with every and great superhero, there's always great villains. And Spider-Man has a great deal of villains in this show. You know, you got Kingpin, you got Hobgoblin, Doctor Octopus, Scorpion, Rhino, Shocker, Green Goblin, Venom, Carnage, Craven the Hunter, you know, Michael Morbius as well, the Vulture, Tombstone, Hammerhead, Spider Carnage as well. Oh, fuck me, Spider Carnage as well, you know. And then you've also got, you know, other characters coming in like Madden Web. You know, Madden Web has just had a trailer come out of her own standalone movie, which kind of looks really good, but it's also really intriguing as well if they've adapted the comic book or they've gone their own way. So I'm really, really intrigued to see that movie when it comes out. And, you know, if you hindsight now, looking back on this show and then you watch the movies, okay, a lot of stuff from this show has been adapted to movies. For example, there's a scene in season season 3, where Spider-Man is facing Green Goblin. Green Goblin, at this point, Green Goblin has figured out Spider-Man's real identity, which is Peter Parker. And now Goblin and Osborn are using this to their advantage, so they kind of have that little, you know, Osborn is like playing coy, but he knows, but he's not letting in Peter know that he doesn't know until up to a certain point. And then there's a part in the episode where, you know, Spider-Man's trying to save Osborn from going into a vortex. However, Green Goblin goes, "Nah, fuck this," and tries to use his glider to knock Spidey into it, so he drags him with it. That is kind of like similar, but changed in the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, where you know, where Spider-Man has got Green Goblin on the ropes towards the end of the film, and Osborn is like, "No, no, 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 come on, let's work together." And then when when Peter is like, "I had a father. His name is Ben Parker," and then Green Goblin just turns around, "Godspeed, Spider-Man," and then the glider comes in and impales him. Spidey misses, and the glider impales no Osborn and kills him eventually. That's kind of like the similar. This is why I like um the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, because they're so similar and so close to the animated series and the comic book sources that they come from. This is what makes this show fucking outstanding. Especially as well that this show eventually started using like CGI backgrounds as well. Because there's some where it's animated coloring, normal animated, but then for a certain sequence, it'll automatically go from animation to like CGI effect. So you got some of that as well, which is really, really fucking cool. We'll go to the episodes. Okay, so we'll go to the episodes, like the season. So there's 5 seasons. I was trying to think what we were going to talk about next. So let's talk about the season. Let's talk about the seasons. Okay, there were 5 seasons, and they had different story arcs within them. Okay, so the first season didn't really have. The first season doesn't have like a story arc, because the first season you kind of have like everything and anything. So you've got so in season 1, you've obviously got the first episode with you get to meet the lizard for the first time. Then you got 2 episodes of the Spider Slayer, which is a great fucking episode, by the way. You got Mysterio's first appearance, you got Doc Ock's first appearance as well. And then you're obviously leading up then to the uh, Venom, the Black Symbiont episode, which is probably my second favorite. I know some people are going to be surprised to hear this, but this is kind of like my second favorite. Yeah, my second favorite. Oh shit, storyline in the Spider Verse, because I love Venom. Venom is incredible, great character, great antagonist for Spider Man, because they're obviously similar, and because Peter's had the suit done, the suit has negated Peter's spider sense, so he can't sense Venom or Carnage for that matter. So that's really, really, really fun, and that all that is in like a 4 episode arc. You got the first one where Spidey is going to save J. Jonah Jameson's son from a shuttle crash on the bridge, which is a fucking epic like scene in itself. That whole episode is an epic scene. Spidey comes out. He's got the black ooze on him. He doesn't know what this is, chucks it in the wash, and then he falls asleep. And the symbiote just wakes up and then covers Spidey. You got Peter having this nightmare where his regular suit is fighting against the black symbiote, and obviously the black symbiote wins and finds himself hanging upside down in this black suit, which he has never seen before. That if you watch Spider-Man 3, the third Tobey Maguire film, if you put that scene if you put that animated series scene and the movie scene at the same time, it's exactly the same, with one difference where the movie didn't have a dream sequence. They went straight to the suit, and then he's just hanging upside down, you know, which is great. And then the second episode to that, you got the shocker, and you've got you start to see the suit taking over and seeing the dark side of Peter Parker, which is really, really cool. With you get to see that, and then Peter then realizes, with Doc Connors' help, he realizes the suit needs to come off. which doesn't help. And he's on that bell tower. The sound of the bell, the sonic vibrations is affecting the suit. It kicks suit, kicks him out, and whatnot. And the suit disappears eventually. You know, and this is the series as well. We get introduced to Eddie Brock as well, and then as Peter's trying to run away, the black suit is dripping on Eddie, and then Eddie becomes Venom again in this dramatic scene. And then you've got and then you've got the Venom episode. Then you know the 4 episodes. Those 4 episodes in that story is fucking one of the best written TV. Um, One of the best animated show written episodes ever. I think it's fucking outstanding. And to have that to start off the first season of the show was absolutely epic. And then you've also got, and in the other seasons, you've got, season 5 is a mixture of, you got one episode starting off, and then you've got the Six Forgotten Warriors, the Return of Hydra Man. You've also got the Secret Wars episode, which is a 3 episode arc, and then you've got the Spider Wars as well, which is a 2 episode arc to finish the series off, which is great. Then you got Partners in Danger, which is the introduction of the Black Cat as well. The Felicia Hardy storyline, which is another good one. The Sins of the Father is a good one as well, because that's the introduction of the Green Goblin. And that whole story arc is similar to the first movie as well, which is even better. And then season 2 for me is probably one of my favorites, just because of the story arc for it, which is the Neogenic Nightmare. And if you don't know what the Neogenic Nightmare is, Spider-Man 2, the second Spider-Man movie, did something similar in this, except one thing. Um, During this season, Spider-Man loses his powers. He's starting to lose his powers slowly. You can't figure out why. In the movie, I think it's due to like stress and whatnot of this, and they in the second Spider-Man movie, he eventually does get it back in, because in the second one, it's like he kind of loses confidence in himself and whatnot, and he doesn't know what to do. But in this one, he does lose his powers in the same way. However, he realizes that a mutation due to the spider's bite. There's a mutation happening during his body, and Peter's like, well, what does that mean? What's going on? Am I going to turn into some kind of like hideous freak? And Connor's like, I don't know. So, you know, Peter's obviously worried. So he decides to find help from someone who knows about genetic mutations or mutations in itself, which is Charles Xavier. This is where the crossover with the X-Men animated series comes in. Which is really, 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 it's a really good fun episode. It's like a 2 to 3 episode story within that, which is really, really good. You obviously get to see Spider-Man take on Wolverine, which is a fun fight in itself, and the Hobgoblins being like a little prick up there. Um, and then as the story gets on, you know, Spidey's experiencing some pain. He's grabbing his sides and it feels like something's trying to get out of his sides, and he doesn't know what it is. So he looks for Dr. Crawford, who he helped to sort out Craven the Hunter during his stint in the first season. So she finds a serum, like this could help, and she's like, don't take it because I still need to test it. But Spidey's so impatient, he doesn't want to. He's so worried that he doesn't want to turn into like a freak. His words. He takes it anyway, but as he's taking it, Dr. Crawford realizes no, the serum she's given him is going to accelerate there, and it becomes this like, oh, I don't know how many episodes, like an 8, 9 episode arc. There's quite a few episodes in this story arc because there's so much going on. Peter's in his house, he's taking the serum, but then he's in excruciating pain. The music, the dramatic music in the background, and then all of a sudden he grows 2 extra pair of arms. So now he's like, he's this audible scream of no, because he's become something that he didn't want to become, and he's walking around like these 4 arms, so he doesn't really know what to do. Mind you, while this is going on, Michael Morbius is has just become the vampire that we all know and love. So while he's doing that, second plasma of people, Spidey's getting the blame for it. And then when people see Spidey, Spidey's like got like 2 extra pair of arms, and they're all like, "What's happened? He's just grown like 6 arms, so now he is like a spider." And this is where um the Punisher is introduced into it, which is who is a great character in this, and yeah, I mean, and then the whole story, like, then Punisher's trying to kill Spidey in a way, and it goes into this really really cool scene where you know the Punisher has like knocked him down off the ground through this factory, but Peter is like Peter at this point now is growing, is the pain, the mutation is like starting to take over now, and then all of a sudden his he's in this box factory. He's trying to stay out of the way, but then all of a sudden he looks at his hands, puts his hands up, and then his hands slowly turn into like a freakishly this freak hairy creature, and then it's just this huge dramatic like the music and the mutation. You don't see the mutation. The only part of the mutation you see is his hands turning, and then you just see his silhouette and his body burst out of his costume, and then the Punisher finds it. Punisher finds him, but then he realizes, wait, this is not. The Punisher sees him, and it's like, oh my god, uh, this is Spider Man, but it's not Spider. But it's Spider Man, but it's not Spider Man. And this is the first introduction of the Man Spider, and this whole story arc of the Man Spider is one of my favorite. Lead from the first episode to the last episode of this series is freaking phenomenal. It's smartly written. As a kid, the Man Spider mutation freaked me out as a kid. It really, really did because because like I got scared for a while of like touching spiders just in case that would happen, and it's funny because you look at it, you're like 4 5 years old when this first came out, and you're like, I don't know what to think, I don't know what to do, and I loved it. The neogenic nightmares, absolutely amazing, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Um, but yeah, really, really good. Now let's talk about the cast and the characters. I've gone through some of them already. Peter Parker, Mary Jane. You've got J. Jonah Jameson, Kingpin, Aunt May, Robbie, Kirk Connors, Felicia, Harry, Norman, Alistair Smythe as well. You've got Doc Octavius as well, Shocker, Chameleon, Man Spider, Eddie Brock, Venom, Anna Watson, Herbert Landon as well. You've also got Hobgoblin, Red Skull, and Madam Web as well. So I would. This is how great this show is. Okay, I'm just gonna run through. Okay, the names of the voice actors of this show. Okay, so you've got Christopher Daniel Barnes, who voices Spider-Man. You've got I'm never gonna say this. I'm gonna butcher this name. I know it, but it's Saratoga Ballantyne. Saratoga Ballantyne, who voices Mary Jane Watson. We've got the incredible Edward Asner, who voices J. Jonah Jameson. Uh, Rusk Lee Brown, King voices Kingpin. Linda Gray. So I didn't know this, but May Parker gets two voice actors in this show. Linda Gray voices Aunt May through seasons 1 to 3, and Julie Bennett voices Aunt May through seasons 4 and 5. I didn't even know her voice changed. I don't think you don't even notice it. Um, you've got Rodney Salisbury, who plays Robbie, Joseph Robinson. You've also got Joseph Capanella, who plays Dr. Kirk Connors. Jennifer Hale voices Felicia Hardy. Gary Imf, Im, oh God, trying to say this name now. Gary Imhoff, who voices Harry Osborn. Neil Ross voices Norman Osborn. You've also got Maxwell Cluffield, who plays Alice Smythe. Um, I'll be honest with you, I can't say this guy's name who voices Doc Octavius, so sorry about that. And then you've also got Earl Boney, who plays Red Skull, Joan Lee as well, who voices Madam Web. Now, these next four actors, you may recognize these names, okay? And two of these, I didn't know were the voice actors until now, okay? So you've got the incomparable Jim Cummings, who voices Shocker, Chameleon, and Man Spider, okay? Jim Cummings is everybody knows who Jim Cummings is. Voice of Winnie the Pooh. Voice acts in this show. Hank Azaria, who you may know as Mo Sizlak, Apu, Chief Wiggum as well from and smattering other characters from The Simpsons, and also the cameraman from Godzilla. You've also got Bajal Barrett, who voices Anna Watson. If you don't know who that name is, that is the wife of Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, and she's also been in Star Trek herself as the original number one from the pilot episode of the original series. She's also Nurse Chapman in the original series with Dr. McCoy, and she plays Deanna Troy's mother, Loxana Troy in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Fabulous actor, amazing actor. I think she's no longer with us now, which is a shame. David Warner, who plays Herbert Landon. David Warner is another recognizable character voice because he has been in a smattering of amazing things, amazing movies and TV shows. For example, he was Billy Zane's bodyguard in Titanic. He was also Chancellor Gorkin in Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. And he's in other things as well, but those two are the main ones that I know he's been in. And then, last but certainly not least, voicing the Hobgoblin, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing the amazing Mark Hamill, who at this time as well is voicing the Joker in the Batman animated series, and obviously he plays Luke Skywalker in Star Wars as well. So just by those names alone shows what kind of like voice acting greatness is in this show, and it's so good. This is why I love this show. It's so good. It's really good fun. And damn, this show's just amazing. Not only that, you got the music is incredible as well, and you, with the voice acting, the music, the animation style, and just put it all together, it's one big pile of greatness. And I love this show so much. This is my childhood. I can watch it now, and oh, I would love I would love them to I would love them to. I know there are other Spider-Man animated series is out at the moment, which I haven't seen yet, but I am going to check them out and then one day review them on the podcast. But this sh- this show is iconic, and I think it's one of the best ones. I'm glad they're not making like a sequel series like they're doing at the like what Marvel are doing at the moment with the X-Men animated series. Obviously, we're getting X-Men 97 soon, but I'm glad that Spider-Man is I'm glad Spider-Man is going to be Spider-Man. This show is going to be marked down as one of the iconic shows of all time, and I cannot wait to watch the rest of this. This is really good. If you haven't seen it yet, guys, check it out. It's on Disney Plus right now. It's so good. Just check it out. And the iconic, like the theme song is so iconic as well. It's that iconic. It's really good. Um See, selfishly, if I give score out of 10, I want to give it a 10, but then do I give it a 10 just for the fact the nostalgia ties? It's got everything that do I screw it. It's my show. I could do whatever the fuck I want. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. This show is amazing. I said earlier I wasn't gonna give it a perfect 10, but fuck it, I'm giving it a perfect 10. Just by talking about, just by watching it, how good it is, how much I enjoy it. It's a 10. Go watch it. 5 seasons on Disney Plus right now. Check it out right now. You don't want to miss it. Honest to God, you don't want to miss it. All right. Uh so with that said, we're gonna get out of here now, gonna do the outro, listen to some music, and then we'll finish this episode off. See you in a bit. Hope you enjoyed. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode 32 of the Multiverse of Entertainment podcast. Thank you so much for coming in. Oh, it's good to be back. Missed you guys. Thank you for coming in. I do appreciate it. If you want to hear more, see more of our of my love or hear of my lovely voice, then please head over to our socials, which is follow us at Multiverse of Entertainment podcast on Instagram at Multiverse of Entertainment Pod. You can also follow us on TikTok at Mo Podcast. I haven't done this for a while, so bear with me, all right? Okay, you usually get them snappy. You can follow myself at on Instagram, X. You can follow me everywhere. Just search me at It's That Nerd James on everything. I stream on Twitch now. I'm back on Twitch. You can follow me there. Twitch.tv/ It's That Nerds James. All my links will be down below in the description. And that's about it, really. Come and say hi in the podcast. One day I will be doing a live podcast session, but I don't know when. I was going to do one today, but then I decided, no, yeah. So, yeah, come and see us. Come and have a good one. So next week is episode 33, and we are talking movies, and we are talking this week was the first Marvel show that we've done, and this one is going to be next week's episode is going to be the first Disney film that we've covered, and this is one of my favorite Disney films of all time. We are talking Hercules. That's right, we are talking Hercules. We'll talk about that next week. That's gonna be a solo episode. Goosebumps is gonna be episode 34, and then followed by Doom on episode 35. Those episodes are gonna be joined by my buddy Sassy Bear Clarence. So have a good one, guys. See you next week. Stay nerdy, and then listen to that extra, extra large outro that we love so much. Have a good one. Let's go.